Pittsburgh Comic Expert here, also known as PGH Comic Expert, also known as Brian, for those of you who have recently done some trades and such with me or were contest winners. So, list update. I actually lost my list, or I may have thrown it away whenever I didn't think I was going to be able to purchase any books this year. So that being said, I wrote up a new one. I looked at my old video and drew it up again. So I've got two. I've got my top 10 and bottom 10, and I've got some alternates, as you can see down there. So let's start with the alternates. I'll probably swap out any two on this top 10 list if I were able to find a pretty affordable copy or reasonably priced copy of either New Mutants 87 or 98, both graded. They have to be graded, and at that grade at 8.5 or 9.2 respectively. So just to go through the list, we've got Iron Man 55. That is the first appearance of Thanos. As you all know, it's a pretty hot book right now, and that's the top one on the list. So who knows? I've been scouting it per se. I've been finding some copies in the $300 range. I really don't want to spend that much money on a comic, but we'll see. Marvel Premiere 47, that's the first Scott Lang in the Ant-Man suit. Avengers 181, that's the first appearance of Scott Lang, period. Avengers 57 is the first Vision. I think that book is starting to cool off a little bit, so I should be able to find a pretty decent copy for an affordable price. Fantastic Four 52, that book is unfortunately not cooling off, it's heating up. I have 53, which is still affordable. 53 is the origin of the Black Panther and the first appearance of Claw. 52 is the first appearance of the Black Panther. I know where I can find a shit copy for like 125, but if I'm going to pay 125 for a book, I want it to at least be a 4.0 for Silver Age. Justice League 183 to 185, that is the Darkseid story. So that is rumored to be the next Scott Snyder, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman big movie that they're going to try to compete with the Avengers there. We'll see. Batman 200, that is the first Neal Adams cover art on Batman, as well as on the Batman title, not Batman himself. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 4, that's the first appearance of the Krang species. I forget what the hell they're actually called, but it wasn't the Krangs. They didn't introduce that until the later days. Detective Comics 370, that's the first Neal Adams cover on Batman. And Batman 251, that is the last Neal Adams on the Volume 1. That's also the iconic Joker cover. So there's the top 10. Bottom 10, got some good ones here. We have Walking Dead Weekly number 1, Marvel Premiere number 1. Walking Dead Weekly number 1 is probably the closest I'm ever going to get to owning Walking Dead number 1. Marvel Premiere number 1 is the first appearance of Adam Warlock as Adam Warlock. I know he appeared as him in Thor, as well as Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four 46, first Black Bolt. Coyote 11 and 13. Coyote 11 is the first published artwork for Todd McFarlane. 13 is the first Todd McFarlane comic book cover. First published comic artwork, I will say. Any Golden Age, Archie, Batman, Captain America, or Kid Colt, I'll be happy with any of those. Especially we're talking like early numbers of Kid Colt, like 1 to 50, or anything prior to that. Marvel Spotlight number 12 and The Son of Satan number 1. Looking for those two. Marvel Spotlight number 5, that's the first appearance of Ghost Rider. Oh, so Marvel Spotlight 12 and Son of Satan number 1. So the first appearance of the Son of Satan, or Damien Hellstorm, is Ghost Rider number 1, which is it's a brief appearance. And his first full appearance is Marvel Spotlight number 12. And then his first solo title appearance is Son of Satan number 1. Marvel Spotlight number 12, that ran from 12 to 24, so there were like 12 issues in there of good old Damien Hellstorm before he got his own title. And then that went on for 8 issues, and then I think it got canceled. I think they tried to Marvel tried to reboot him several times, and I don't think they had any luck. So Marvel Spotlight 5, first Ghost Rider. Akira number 38 or Lone Wolf and Cub number 45. That would be basically the last issues of those two titles. Now, Lone Wolf and Cub is actually, there's a lot more than 45. They just never got published. I know Dark Horse recently picked up the license for that. So if you're into Lone Wolf and Cub and you have the first 45 from First Comics that went bankrupt, just like all the other little independent comic publishers, then you could probably start picking them up from Dark Horse. I know they released the first 45 in the versions of trade paperback. Now, the cool thing I think about the first 12 issues of Lone Wolf and Cub is that they were, they either had intros by Frank Miller or the cover art was by Frank Miller. It was one of the two, but he did play a part in that. And that was odd for him to go to first, but you all know Frank Miller. He just wants to put his name on everything. All right, last ones here. We have Walking Dead 19 or 27. 27 seems to be a little more realistic. That's the first Governor as opposed to the first Michonne. That's like a $400 book because Michonne's still alive. I'm really surprised the first Governor book is still high. Now that Negan is on The Walking Dead, you know, his book is going to take off. And I think the Governor book is finally going to start to drop to an affordable rate because it's still on eBay and in comic shops. People are still wanting a couple $100 for it. And I just don't see it. The Governor's gone. He's been gone for 3 seasons. Tony Moore didn't even do that cover. I can understand it being a Tony Moore cover because of all the legal shit, but whatever. And Silver Surfer number 1. That's just a classic book. For whatever reason, it seems to be more popular. Let's put it this way. I've seen it at similar grades to Fantastic Four 48 and 49. Similar graded ones that are priced higher than those books. So Surfer's always a popular character, and I'm hoping that Marvel regains the rights here pretty soon because it's going to be hard to have the Infinity Gauntlet without the Surfer. All right, so what have we got already? Well, let's go, and we'll start with the bottom part. So you guys already saw these whenever I did my Tony Moore signing, but I got these for $1 a piece at New Dimensions. So we ended up getting Coyote number 11. So first Todd McFarlane published comic artwork, and then we got Coyote number 13. That's his first cover art. So he didn't actually do the main story. You can see he does have his name down there. He did the backup stories for both of these books. So those were $1 a piece. I've seen those on eBay for a lot more. So we got that one gone. Okay, next one here. You guys saw this too. I got this early this year. This is signed by Tony Moore. So Walking Dead Weekly number 1. That cost me $20. That book is $150 on eBay because I don't know if you guys, if any of you out there probably watch Vin Crew. The guy is a wealth of knowledge. I should be calling him the comic book expert as much because he's taught me a ton. And he had mentioned that reprints are starting to heat up because some of the real books are out of reach. And he's right. I don't have $1,000 sitting around that I could just go buy a Walking Dead number 1. But I do have 20. So Walking Dead Weekly number 1. Carving some off the bottom here. All right, next one. I was really surprised to find this, and the guy did me a huge favor. So Steve at Joy's Japanimation picked up this massive surplus of Akira books. And as a favor, now I visit him when I can. As a favor to me, he gave me a deal on this. His cover price is $6.95 on this book. He gave it to me for $3. And online, this book alone is $150. So we got Akira number 38. So thank you, Steve at Joy's Japanimation out in Greensburg. If you watch my videos, highly appreciate it. I'll be out to see you soon, I'm sure. He does have 2 more copies of these, but I know he told me as a personal favor he'd give me 1 for that price because I asked to buy all 3, and he's like, I don't think so. So yeah, I didn't want to take advantage. So there we go. Really happy with that. Book is in really pretty good shape. I mean, it's got some scuffs and everything on the cover, but this is really hard to find. And it's the final issue, so I've got the first and last Akira with a handful in between. I'm really happy about that. Because as you guys know, I've been scaling down my collection big time. But there are certain titles I'm going to keep. Like, I'm trying to get rid of all my Copper Age stuff. Well, 95% of my Copper Age stuff. But one thing I plan on keeping is this title. That just, that and Lone Wolf and Cub. I just love those stories. All right. And let's see. So then, here we go. Power of Warlock, Marvel Premiere #1. I picked this up for less than $20 down at Ides, if you can believe that, in Pittsburgh. It actually had a good deal on it. Book's overall in pretty good shape. It does have that subscription line down the middle there. So, picked that up months ago. They have it graded at a 4 or 5. So, got that. Alright, I'm pretty certain that is all off of the back. So let's start with the front here. Okay, so with the front, what have we accomplished? Let's start with, got Justice League 183, 184, and 185. So I bought something for my wife on eBay for her birthday / Mother's Day, and it happened to be one of those ridiculous eBay buck promotion days, so I got a ton of eBay dollars here, and I used some of them on this set here. This didn't really cost me anything, so that's definitely was happy to have that. It's in pretty good shape. This book's got some issues here, but I'm willing to live with that. The one I was most concerned with was this one. This is the best cover out of all of them, and I think that's George Perez. I'll have to double check on the inside. That looks like Perez. So really happy to have those. Especially off the top 10. All right. Next one here. Found a real shit copy of this, but for $8 I'll take it all day. Also a George Perez cover. Did get an Avengers 181, so that's the first Scott Lang. This book's got some issues along the spine, but hey, I'll upgrade later. I'm happy with it. And last but not least, this is a pretty high grade, and I'm probably going to send this away. I would ideally like to get it signed first by the cover artist, but I don't know when he's coming back to Pittsburgh, if he's ever coming back. It's got some spine issues, but last but not least was the Marvel Premiere 47. So that's in pretty good shape. That's probably an 8.0. I can live with an 8.0 on that. I won't even bother upgrading it. Now, the My Light is hiding a lot of the defects here, but there's still some along the spine. There's a slight roll from having other comics stacked on top of it, but hey, who are we to know better when we're kids? So there we have it. That is my list update. Another one down. Should have had another one Bites the Dust playing in the background here. So we still have a few more to go. Iron Man 55, that's probably going to be a while before I can get that one. Been doing some preliminary price checking on these 3. Looking for the 3, I mean, it's almost up to $1,000, so I mean, it might not happen, all 3 of them. It'd have to be a real sweet deal. Been spying a Batman 200 for about $35. Been spying a Detective 370 for $20. So these two look reasonable within the next few months. And as far as the back covers go, or the back books, I had some more eBay bucks, so these two are in transit here. Like I said, I had like 40 bucks in eBay dollars, and I ended up buying the Justice League books, and then these two the Son of Satan books. So those should be here today, I think. We'll see. And probably not going to go after Lone Wolf and Cub 45 since I have the Akira 38. But if I do find it for $3 like Akira 38, sure, I'll pick it up. And then these bottom three, that's going to be tough. So I know a shop that actually has Silver Surfer #1. A different shop has these two books here, 19 and 27. And I know it's the shop that has Silver Surfer has Fantastic Four 46. And he also has, the 52 and he has 57. And he even has a Walking Dead #1. So he has two copies of Walking Dead #1. One's a CGC 9.0. He wants 1,000. One's an 8.0. He wants 900. He has a CGC 9.2 of the first Michonne. He wants 350 for that. The local shop owner here has a raw copy of the first Michonne and the first Governor. He wants 250 for the first Governor and 350 for the first Michonne. Fantastic Four 52, it's chewed up. He wants 150. Avengers 57, he's got a graded copy. I think he wants about 500 bucks for it. These are two different shops, by the way, I'm talking about. When I say he, they're both men who own the shop. Fantastic Four 46, I think he wanted 80 for that one. It's kind of beat up. In Silver Surfer #1, he has the guy in Monroeville, Phantom of the Attic. He's got it for, I think, 150. So the books are out there. I just am not going to go out and drop all this money on books whenever I'm trying to, save. So I'm trying to collect high quality books on a budget. All right, folks. Well, that's my video. Thanks for watching. I do have another one coming up here. This is actually a trade video with a coworker. So I will be shooting that one here pretty soon, and hopefully you guys will get to watch that, and looking forward to the comments. Keep collecting. Peace.